morning. Man, you are absolutely, I will have to say this. This is a 30-second State of the Union. You're going to break another record this week. Um, what you guys are doing with the class you do it, with the intensity that you do it, it is a fun thing to be a part of, and it's a fun thing to watch. Um, Scott, I do agree with you. You know, $7,500 used to be like an incredible week. And now we've got people, I mean, literally, I thought I was going to have to send out some crying tales, right? Because they did 7,500, 8,000. But you know what it does? It goes to show what you're capable of. And for you to build that type of value for your, you know, for you and your family is incredible. Guys, I want to have a really serious talk with you this morning. We have operated at our company. I take a lot of pride in it. With transparency, it was one of the things that I promised on my first day on the job here back in 2016. I've got great news for you today, but I also think it's important. You know what? We're in business together, and you know, I cannot literally wait until March the 31st when we're all together, eyeball to eyeball, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So many of you, if we've not met yet, we've not been able to shake hands, and we're going to do that. And I'm going to actually start March 31st off for the first hour on the agenda that day. Because I want to talk about what the Agents Company is all about. Our mission when we got started was to equip men and women to go out there and to build their businesses, right? I can't create desire. You know, I mean, there are a lot of things I can't do, right? But one of the things that I'm going to talk about, we started, and for you that have been around here for more than 10 minutes, you've heard me talk about this, that we built our company with really 5 pieces of rebar that went into our structure, right? That was what we wanted to do. Number one, listen to this. I'm not going to cover all of them. I'm going to talk about number one today. Number one were leads, right? Number one was leads. It was putting qualified people in front of qualified agents or qualified prospects in front of qualified agents. The lead program in 1994 saved my dadgum butt, right? And I went from a struggling fighting agent to understanding the power, right, of a qualified person that gave you the dadgum phone number and wanted you to call them, right? Just changed, I mean, literally generations of my family were changed because of that, right? And so I take it serious. You know, Rob Jones, I mean, I know Rob's on the call, but he's not where you can see him right now, right? The 5 pieces of rebar, the only one, you know, my office is in, or at least 6 months a year, is in Lynchburg, Virginia. And our home office is in Asheville, North Carolina, right? The only thing I dragged into Lynchburg was the lead program, because there's nothing more sensitive than our lead program. I mean, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's carrier relationships, if it's technology, if it's process and apps. There is nothing at our company more sensitive than our ability to deliver leads to you on a consistent basis, right? I will look in the camera and tell you this. Probably the only thing that keeps me up at night is our lead program, right? That'll make me have a sleepless night. And so I want you, number one, I want you to rest assured that we're on this lead stuff like you can't imagine, and really decisions. I'm finding this out, man. I'm finding this out more and more, and I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and I'm still learning and finding out. You go out there and control a process, right? You go out there and work and wake up every day, regardless of how you feel, and be a man or a woman with some backbone and go to work, right? I found out that works out about 99.9% of the time. I also find out that we got a country, unfortunately, that most people don't get up and do that, right? It's easier to whine and moan and groan and hang your little hanky up and call mama, right? And that's the reason you're so special. I keep saying that to you. Some of you blow my mind at how good you are at what you do, right? So we made a decision 6 months ago in our lead program that I was going to, that we signed an exclusivity contract with a big lead vendor, right? And because, see, we're going to always keep our lead program in-house, right? Now, if you go out there and find leads somewhere, good for you, right? I encourage that. But we're going to control our leads to the best that we can until you see me in the ground 6 feet under, and I'm hoping that's no time soon, because that's our commitment here at Equus, right? You stay in your lane and do what you do, and Barry Clarkson's going to stay in his lane, and he's going to do what he does, and that number one is to deliver you prospects. So about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I could see us starting to grow. I saw a momentum, I saw a seriousness, and I saw an intensity in Equus that looked real to me, okay? Looked real to me. And so I called Kristen, and this is the big stuff. You got to understand, the only thing we do outside of, well, we won't talk about that, right? Because there are politics in work. But outside of our lead program, I don't know of anything that can sink our ship. But the lead program is serious. I always talk about this, and I want you to hear this. This isn't a game. This is a big boy and a big girl's business. And when you go spend $1 million every week in mail and leads, and you do that, you can't have pretenders. You hear that? You can't have pretenders. You got to have performers. And you'll never, for you that are out there building your team, you'll never build anything without people willing to make a commitment, right? Equus is where it is today because we laid it on the line. There's no shortcut to that, right? And I don't want it to be. Because if it was, the world wouldn't be so good for people like you and me, right? It takes a commitment, right? You know that. So when we go out there, you just, every time somebody says, well, man, just go out there and give me 100 leads. You got to be careful on that stuff, right? But about 6 weeks ago, I knew, I could feel it. I knew we were doing something pretty special. I knew we had a chance as a company to go compete for a national championship. And I called Kristen and I said, because in the past, we've only mailed counties that we had a standing lead order for, right? And I said, I want to add 1,000 plus counties, and I want it to look like a state, because what I'm trying to lobby for right now, and most things I lobby for, just in case you don't know, we find a way to make it work, right? We win. But instead of having a standing lead order by county, let's do it by the state, right? Because we got some hungry people out there that are fighting for financial freedom and independence. They're out there fighting. And so we're going to try to make that change. But we added 1,000 plus counties we didn't have standing lead orders for. And we started mailing the dead gum you know what out of it. We're getting ready to add a new lead, and I'm not going to talk about that in detail today. I will come back, Scott, and talk about that in a week or two. I may spend my time and talk about it in Charlotte, but we've got another lead that's a life lead that's going to probably be, I don't know, $15, $20 less than the mortgage protection lead. And we think we can produce 1,000, 1,500 a week. We've already done it. We've tested it with Nick Burns. Nick may talk about it today. Same process. Everything was virtually the same. And we've been working on it 3 or 4 months, right? I'm not a news broadcaster. I'm not an economist. I also don't have my head stuck under a rock, right? And if you look at what's going on in our country today, I got to tell you, I am in my Lynchburg office. I drove back from Florida with my wife and my 4 dogs yesterday, and I looked over, and I'll tell you something. I ain't got to worry about if gas is $20 a gallon, right? But I mean, I got pissed off, right? I mean, the last 48 hours. We didn't. I looked at him. I said, "We didn't put $200 in a damn gas tank. How people out there making, right? I mean, that's real, right? And inflation's real. And so, I went this morning and filled my old pickup truck up, over $100, right? And I know that stuff's real. I don't have to tell you about that. I loved what I heard this morning. I heard somebody say, we don't listen to politicians because we live it every day. We know what's going on. You ain't got to tell us what's going on. We live it every day, right? I mean, I heard bread could be $6, $9 a loaf by the end of the year, right? You don't think I'm happy? We got Equus Financial and we can go out there and work, and we can do this virtually. I love it. But I also want you to know something that has affected us the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. The supply chain is a real thing, right? Every vendor, and Equus included with our mail house, paper and envelopes have been a problem. You wouldn't believe what we go through to find a dead gum envelope to mail something, right? That's real. We do believe, though, that has been solved. But has it hurt us? Yeah, right? Pre-sort first class mail at the post office hit us hard this week. Is running about 2.5 weeks behind normal delivery. Because I know what we mailed 3, 4 weeks ago. I know the timing of this. I say this, Scott, and I don't say it arrogantly, but I know more about the mail business than I know about the insurance business because I've been mailing since September of 1994. You can't think of a question in regard to producing leads that I don't know. You can't even think of something, right? And I should, because we've been doing it since 1994, and I knew someone right. And I've been screaming at everybody that's involved in LE Pro, not at them, but we got momentum, and we're going to fight to the death. But here's the good news. Things picked up dramatically last night. But I want to tell you this, guys, and I want you to, this is serious talk for serious people. We're in a great position today because of what we did 6 months ago. We're in a great position today, and I mean this, because of you. See, when you work hard and you deliver, and Rob and Bill know them to death, I'll bet the entire bank on it. Because here's the thing, I believe in you and I believe in us, right? And so we made some bold decisions 3, 4 weeks ago that now we're in a great position for, right? But I want you to know that, and I want you to know I feel your pain. I will ask you to do this, and I get it. And I'm saying this with love. I've talked about this before, and I really am. I'm not being ugly. I'd probably be doing the dead gum same thing, right? But always be careful what you post on our community page, right? It's the good news is, and the bad news, it's not just you and the person that asked the stupid question. It's the world can see, right? So always be careful. I want you to know I got this, okay? And I also want you to know we're getting ready to double our company, and we're going to do it over the next 3 or 4 months, not over the next 3 or 4 years. You're going to get this a little bit better on March 31st. You'll understand it. But I will never, ever run and hide, right? When it comes to the leads and it comes to things like this, I'll always come to you and talk to you face to face and tell you like it is, right? I don't, you know what? I'll always do that. And then you always make your mind up if this is for you or it's not for you. I said something, I think it was Tuesday. I was talking about somebody that had just gotten their first equity bonus check for, almost $15,000. And I said, I remember back 2, 3, 4 years, we were having gut-wrenching, tough conversations because that person couldn't get leads in their area. This is 3 years ago. And, they were having to drive 4, 5, 6 hours to go run a lead. And that isn't bad until you get stood up, right? Now, you get stood up and it doesn't feel too good. And I probably got a tear in my eye talking about it. It was talking about, this isn't perfect. All of us are going to be challenged, and we're going to find out what's inside of here. But I'll tell you this, easiest thing in the world to do is quit. Toughest thing to do is believe and have faith and get out there and work your ass off. And how many times things work out. And so I got that tear in my eye Tuesday, thinking that my friend's got a check for almost $15,000, and that same check's going to be $20,000 if we do as a company what we're supposed to do over the next 3 or 4 months. But I love us. I tell you this, I love coaching hard. I love people that love it like I do. I love what's going on. We're going to have a record this week. We're going to have a record this week, and leads have stunk this week. And we're going to have a record, right? And so know that we will always give it everything we've got. We're in a great position. And I think you're going to see Salesforce thing turn just like that for us. But know that problems that happen in our country on supply chain and post office stuff, that we're not always exempt from that. And maybe you'll understand why I will constantly talk to you about being out of debt and saving a bunch of money. And when storms come up in life, because they always do, things are never, ever, for me or you, as good as we think they are. They are conversely never as bad as we think they are. But you go out there, we're going to help you get out of debt. See, that's real. A lot of people say, well, Barry, people, that's not sexy talk, right? Well, I think for the right people that are betting their lives on this, they're betting their lives on this and their family's life. They're giving it everything they've got. They're emotionally spent from working. I think it's sexy talk to that person, right? Because you get out of debt and you don't owe anybody anything. When you're at that, can't anybody ever put their dead-gum thumb on you, right? And that's a battle that I'll get up earlier than I get up now to fight for you. And we're going to help you get out of debt. We're going to help you become financially independent, because that's real stuff for grown-up people. But be clear, it's a fight. And but I'm going to tell you this. When you get there and you will, many of you will, you would pay the price 1,000 times over, Scott Rumba. You'd pay it 1,000 times over if you knew how good it was. And that's why we get up and we fight, and that's why this dude's going to always come and talk about tough subjects, not just the good ones, right? And so, but rest assured, we've got things under control here, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to be in business with you. Scott Rumbo, I didn't mean to take this much time, but I got to sign off. I got a meeting I got to run to, but I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Thank you much.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Hey, our CEO's got our back. I'll tell you that. There's been a many morning I've talked to him, and he was up at 1:30 in the morning saying, man, I can't sleep, man. We got to stay on top of this lead thing because we're going to deliver. And he's doing just that. You can rest assured. It's nice to be able to know that, hey, listen, I don't have to worry about that. I just go out and do what we do, help a bunch of you go out there and achieve your goals. And Barry's got our back when it comes to the leads coming in. And man, they are about to flood in. Hey, Heather, let's go ahead and bring on Nick Burns and Connor, Jamie Trent. Matt's not with us today. Matt's actually down there, going to be visiting with Barry. Hey, Nick Burns, what's going on, man?
Ready to rock and roll.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Guys, I'm just telling you, we've been working a lot behind the scenes on the platform. You know, some new stuff we're going to be rolling out that we're going to be shooting while we're in Charlotte. The leads are coming, man. And I just text Kristen to see if Kristen could be on Monday. But I tell you what, I would be going to step 5 on the virtual training platform down to the bottom where Kristen does a video on how to operate through Opt, the lead platform. And I would be putting in a standing lead order or email the lead department, leads@equusfinancial.com, and go, listen, when those leads start flying in here, I do not want to miss out on them. I do not want them to go into inventory and miss out on them. I want to make sure I get some of those leads when they come in. So I would do that. Let's talk about that, because that's always the big subject is lead investment. How do you do it? When do you do it? Let's talk about that, because we have a lot of questions around that. How do you do standing lead order? When do you put it in? When should you go on a standing lead order? When should you move to new leads? Know this, leads are your inventory, right? It's like we go back to the basics that I've talked about for a long time in the t-shirt shop. The person that has 10 t-shirts in their t-shirt shop to sell is only going to make so much. But after they figure out, hey, every time I have 10 t-shirts in here, I sell 5 of them, and I want to double my income. If I now have 20 t-shirts in here, I'm going to sell 10. Now, if I have 30, I'm going to sell 15. What they're doing is they're ramping up their investment, which ramps up their income. Same thing with leads. So let's talk about that, Nick Burns. Talk about lead investment. Talk first about what you did. Coming from final expense into mortgage protection. You know, talk about how you ramped up your lead investment. Talk about what results you were getting from that, why you ramped it up, and then also, if you'll follow that up with, what is the foundation that you're laying for the expectation for your new folks, if they're going to really win in this business? How do they, as a brand new person, ramp leads up like that?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what Barry said first. He said something, I wrote it down. You can't have pretenders. You can't build anything without having people that are committed. We talked about that commitment a couple of days ago, and another word for commitment is deciding, right? You got to be bold. Barry Clarkson makes bold decisions on the back end that benefit Equus as a whole in the long run, right? It's the point of deciding is quit wasting time and move forward. Okay. So in my world of knowing final expense, when me and JB first built our business, we didn't know what a B or C lead was. It was all A leads. That's how we had brand new people coming into business and did A leads. B and C leads, as John Kite will say, they're there for people to get started the first couple, 3 weeks, right? But for you to succeed in this business, you got to get on a standing lead order as quickly as possible. You know, and it just reminded me when the old becomes new. right? Back in the day, working A leads, working platinum leads, that's how we built our business. And what we're teaching our team now, just starting this week, is all about the number one, the lead investment. We talk about that over and over, Jamie Trent. It's $750 is going to equate you $7,500 in business. $1,000 a week is going to equate you, 10 plus thousand a week in business. The numbers are the numbers, right? Once you figure out virtual, it's a completely different game. Okay. It goes back to what Barry has said over the last 3 years. Once you figure this business out, it just becomes simple math. But in order to do that, you've got to get on a standing lead order as quickly as possible. It may be B's and C's and D's and IPOs and whatever it takes those first couple weeks, but you need to have a mindset to get on a standing lead order as quickly as possible. Okay, because that's what's going to elevate your business. Connor's got a guy this week. Kind of share, Connor, what Brennan has done this week. 19-year-old kid, right? And he got some A-leads that come in. Talk about what he did.
Hey, he's not even 19 yet, man. He's 18. He was the age when I got in the business. And for all of you out there, I mean, Nick is 100% right. And I think everybody on this call that's an elite producer that writes a lot of business, we're lead junkies. And I have to tell you, I mean, you can ask my wife, like, if I'm not getting 2,000 plus leads a week, like, I'm in a panic. Like, I have to have it because I know what it does, right? I like to have a cushion. I like to, when I have that consistency, right, with my investment every single week on those A leads, it always produces the same amount, right? Like, Nick, I was laughing with you this year. Like, I did my numbers, 10-6-3 is the golden rule. I did 10-6-3 on my leads, and I was one app up. But it's so true to the numbers. But no, you guys, so listen to this, and I hope this hits hard. And it's wild now to talk about an 18-year-old because I'm 23 now. But I remember starting back when I was his age. Brennan has been fighting for a couple months now. He's only been in the business maybe 5-6 months. And started off on B's and C's, got through his process. Remember, he had a lot more work to do than all of you. I mean, he just graduated from high school. Never really left his small town, went on a couple of vacations. You guys, he got, I think, 22 A-leads this week. He wrote 7 apps for $12,000. And you go, well, how do I do what Brennan did? Did you get 23 A-leads? Right? Do you have that order? He has the order in. Brennan wants 30, right? And now we know that the leads are going to start flooding in. So there's no excuse saying I can't get them, right? You got the whole country. But here's the thing that Nick is trying to say, and we're going to start getting tough on you guys for this. If you've been doing this business 6-8 weeks, you have to get on A-leads. And I'm not trying to, like, because guess what? You're going to start writing more business and making a lot more money. Oh, and by the way, you're not going to be as stressed out anymore. What you got to realize too, when you move to A's and you make the investment, a lot of the stress goes away. And you go, well, what do you mean? It's more efficient, right? You're going to start noticing, like a lot of you too, I see, what do I do if somebody's got kidney failure, right? It's because you're working a deed lead that's been talked to 8 times, and you've been doing this business 6 months. You gotta put yourself in a position to invest in your business. And here's what I'm going to tell y'all. It's not an investment in your business. It's an investment in yourself. Too many of you are used to the job where when you needed a new G2 pen, you went to the storage locker, right, and pulled out a pack from the company bin. You own what you do. Here's what y'all got to realize. Everybody on here owns their own business. You're not an employee. Like, I always laugh, people on my group, they go, you're the boss. I'm like, I'm not the boss of anybody, especially not my wife. She'd kick my tail, right? But I'm not your boss. This is your business, right? And what you got to realize is all this is just tools. And the fact that you have the lead system. I mean, I always laugh when people go, well, I can mail my own mail. Good luck, right? I don't think your pockets are deep enough, right? Love the fact that our CEO's been in this business since 1980, but learn to invest in yourself, okay? I always do this on the call, but it's like if I made all of you raise your hand who went to college, I know y'all spent a lot of money on college. I know you did. And why did you spend the money on college? Well, first of all, you were told to do so. Second, it was an investment in what? Yourself, because you wanted to find a good job after college. then you figured out that unless you go 8, 9 years in college, it's a big old lie, right? You get out and you start making $3,000 a month, and you get all this student debt. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You have to look in the mirror as well. If you spent $50,000 plus on college and you're worried about $1,000 a week in leads, you need to look in the mirror and realize that you have to relearn to invest in yourself and start making money in real time. It's not a 4-year delay. You have to make the shift. Every person I've worked with that's gotten out of the business, right, they did not get on that A-lead order. You have to get on it. But that's just my 2 cents, but just fired up. I mean, I'm so excited for next week.
Know this too. We're not on here to try to sell you leads. Equus does not make any money on leads. Matter of fact, we lose. And if you saw how much Equus lost on leads, I saw it for the first time a few years ago, and I was about sick in my stomach. I go, oh my God, you're gonna be kidding me. They go, no, but it works. It works out. It's an investment. And we know that investment we're making, even with the loss, the return is much greater. So we're not on here to try to give you a sales pitch to sell you leads. Because as soon as you start putting your standard lead order in, know this, Equus is willing to take a loss on those leads to put you in a position to win because they know they're in a position to win. Barry knows before he writes that check to send those mailers out, how much in premium that's going to result in for the company. Just like you guys do. Nick knows when I invest $2,000 a week in leads, I write $20,000 plus.
When me and JB,
He knows that, like clockwork.
When me and JB we were spending over $25,000 a week for leads in our business, and we could literally look and see how many leads that we distributed, and we could do the math and predict how much premium was going to come from those leads. It's the same thing in your business.
Yep.
You got to bet on yourself. It's like John Kite just sent me a text. The only thing predictable about B's, C's, and D's is they're unpredictable, right? But you got to do it first couple weeks to get going. But you got to have the mentality is I've got to get on A leads as quickly as possible. That ought to be your mentality from day one is I got to get on A leads as quickly as possible. Brennan, what has the A leads done for you in your business?
So the A leads really exploded my business. I mean, I really just got on a standing lead order. We put it in, end of January, start of February, and they're finally starting to come in. And like you guys saw, my business just took off this week.
18 years old. Come on, Brennan's mindset is unreal, Jamie. Like, if you see that, I mean, Brennan, it cracks me up. If he does get like a no-show, he don't care. He's reading a book. I mean, he's getting his head right. I mean, he reads more than me. He makes me feel dumb. But again, though, it was just the investment. And Brennan, you can tell then. Remember the other week you wrote 7,000-8,000 is when you got like 20 plus leads in a week. Every week Brennan's had a great week is when his investment was there. Brennan always, he comes to my office, he goes, hey man, is there any more leads I can buy? Is there any more leads I can get? I need more leads, man. I need more leads. Right? But
you know, we have to have that mentality, Connor, like Brennan has. You remember, all at 18 years old, man, you take on the world. Like, I ain't afraid to go invest in it. I'll take it on because I want to go out and I want to make money. When we get older, we get a little more conservative going, oh man, I got to be a little safe on this deal. Bet on yourself, like Nick said. So what Brendan's doing, he says, I know I'll do the work. I mean, Brendan is what we're going to see more of, right? Brendan doesn't have to worry about getting up shaving every day. He's not that. He's 18 years old. Brendan just knows how to get up and get me some leads and make money.
Brennan, tell them your schedule this week. I love this. Wrote 12 grand this week. Tell them what you've been doing this week. I was laughing.
So I've been working from home because no one was in the office, but I'd wake up, start shooting out texts around like 9:45, down the call at 10, and then afterwards I'd finish up sending my texts. Then I'd work some pending, go to the gym, come back home, get something to eat. Then I'd go back up to the office and start running my appointments.
He was laughing. He was like, I go in the office at 3, 4 o'clock, run my appointments. He goes, I go to the gym, hang out, play with the puppy, hang out in the morning, get on the call. I mean, come on. I mean, well, I got in the business. It's like, shoot, man, I had to get up at 6 in the morning so I could drive 3 hours. And Brennan's like, yeah, man, I got to the gym, got a 6 pump in. I got some Chipotle for lunch. And then I wrote 12,000 this week, basically working from 4 to 8.
Hey, Jamie Brent,
I got a question for you, Brendan. Here's a good question because it's a shame that I've just seen about 50 people leave this call. And that is an absolute shame. Those are the exact people that need to hear what you're saying, Brendan. But here's my question for you. When you're about to do the first time you're going to buy some A-leads, because there's a lot of people think about this as spending money versus investing. Was there any apprehension or fear?
I mean, I was a little scared. Just it was the first time, like, taking like $500, $700 out of my bank account just like that. But you just got to have blind faith in it and just trust what these guys are saying because it's true. I mean, the more you do it, the more you believe in it, and that's you don't realize that until you start to do it. But that
sounds like you're quoting Nick Burns there.
No, but here's the thing, Jamie. Here's the thing. If we could take Brennan's mentality right now,
that's why,
and give you a shot of it when you start thinking. When you start overthinking this business, we need to give you a shot of how Brennan's thinking right now. He's not overthinking. He's just doing it, guys. And I've seen it in my career, and I've been there, guys. I'm 18 years in the business, and I feel like I just get it for the first time, John Kite. You start overthinking the business. You just start, man, with this scenario. No, just do. Wake up every day and do. Do the process every day and watch the whole world change for you, change for everybody around you.
To that point, Nick, I was texting with Charlie Robinson last night. Charlie goes, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this and adding this to my business." And I said, "I'm just going to be frank with you. Don't do that. Just ramp your lead investment up so you're doing what Nick Burns is doing, and then go out there and start hiring you some people and building your virtual agency so you can get that equity bonus. Just focus on that. Like, just, Charlie, take your lead investment right now from $1,200 to $1,500 because Charlie knows he can write the business. Then take it from $1,500 to $1,700, $1,750. Then go to $2,000. I said, because then your life, Charlie Robinson, you're already doing great, making multiple six figures. It's going to change because now you're going to knock out some serious debt. You're also going to be able to fund your business and build that agency so you got that other income coming in while you're doing that. But just ramp up your investment. Don't worry about getting distracted and going to do this or that. Just stay laser focused and ramp up your investment because you already know you get the return on it. So I said, just stay with that. Just stay laser focused on, I'm going to make my lead investment X. And so brand new person, Jamie Trent, this just came in. I had this like 4 or 5 times already. Brand new person, doesn't really have a lot of money to start with. What do they invest in? How much should they invest to just get themselves ramped up?
Great question.
Minimally.
Minimum, you probably need to get figure out how you can get about 100 to 150 leads minimum. I get it. There's a lot of agents out here that are broke and don't have a whole lot of resources. So what I did, because y'all have heard my story. I owed my mother-in-law money. I wrote business on myself, and I used that seed money to buy more leads. So if there's nothing else, you've got yourself. But Scott, here's what's going to hold all of these new people back is their fear. And
Yep.
See, we cannot control if someone's going to answer the phone, if they're going to do a business with us or not. But we can control if we're willing to buy leads as inventory. We can control us calling them. And if they allow us to meet with them, we can control us showing up to that appointment. And if we can just stay in that mindset right there, don't go any further than what we can control, every bit of fear will go away because the only reason why we fear anything is because we think we can't control it. And if people can understand, buy a lead, call the lead, go see the lead, and hire someone, that is the entire Equus business model, and it is not difficult. And Brandon, he probably doesn't even realize he's got it, but he's got it. Now, don't let that go to your head because you and Connor and Nick and Scott and me and everyone listening, when we start getting on calls and we start getting puffed up, we start getting recognition, this can go to our head and cause us to rest on our laurels. So don't rest on your laurels. You got to keep doing every single day. You got to fight for this because you got to want this more than you want being broke. And until you want this more than you want being broke, it don't matter what lead investment you do, it ain't going to work. But if I'm brand new and let's say I'm negative in my checking account, I might have to ask somebody I know, a friend of mine, can I borrow $200? And I'm going to go get me $200 for leads. I sold family heirlooms to get me $400 to go get leads when I transitioned over to Equus. You got to do whatever you can do to get whatever you need done, Scott Rumbo.
Yep. Same thing. I've talked about it before too. We sold stuff on Facebook garage sale. People were coming out all times of night, picking up stuff. And man, I would watch them too. I'd watch out the shutters. And I would be like, I want to make sure that person leaves the money because I need that money for lead money. I don't want them to take my stuff and then not leave the money. So he did whatever he had to do. Facebook garage sale was huge. To go out there and put yourself in a position to get yourself 100 or 200 leads to get going. What mix of leads should you get for B's and C's? Someone asked. It's the investment. It doesn't matter how many B's you get or how many C's you get. It's the investment that you make. So if you're investing $300, like Connor started with about $300 of graduation money. I think it was birthday money at the time because he was still in school. Birthday money that he got in his birthday cards from grandma. So he had about $300. He invested that. So that $300, he would write $3,000. Then he ramped it up to $500 investment. Once it got paid on those apps, ramped his investment up to $500. Now he's writing $5,000. Then he goes, okay, I'm going to take some of my money I made. I'm going to reinvest it, go to $750. So now I'm at $7,500. He just kept ramping it up. Now I'm going to go to $1,000. His goal, I remember him saying, I need to get to $1,000 a week as quickly as I can. And that was working after he got out of high school. I mean, after class. Like got to the point where sports were over his senior year. He goes, I'm not going to get involved in anything else. I'm just going to go run business after school. And he said, I got to get my lead investment to 1,000 because I want to start writing 10,000 and making some real money. And that's where you got to get. I think at the end of the day, minimally, you got to get yourself to $1,000 a week as fast as possible because we know that's the threshold. If you get to that point, you're making money and you're surviving in this business and you're doing great. You're starting to really build on something, but you got to ramp up to that 1,000 in inventory so that you're writing that 8 to 10,000 a week and life changes. It's the same thing as that t-shirt shop. They start off small because they only have so much money to invest. They take money, they reinvest it. And listen, you got to reinvest in you and your leads first before you pay anything else. Because if you don't, your income stops. It's going to be difficult for many people to do that. I know it was for me. Man, I had stage anxiety thinking the electric bill's due and I got to get leads. Well, I knew that I couldn't pay the electric bill and not get leads. So I would call and make an arrangement on the electric bill so that I could get leads and write some business and pay the electric bill and still be invest in my business. Because I knew if I didn't do that, it all stopped. And it stopped immediately.
Rumbo, I got to say this, and Nick hit on this with me. I see a lot of your body language on this call right now. And let me tell you something. If you're sitting right now and you're getting kind of frustrated, why are we talking about leads? Why are we doing this? Getting down. You have a belief problem, a big one. And the problem is if you don't fix it, you're not going to make it in this business long term, right? The reason I got to $1,000 is because my dad looked at me, barely ever helped me with business. He goes, hey, Connor, he goes, you don't get to $1,000, you ain't going to be here in 2 years.
Right.
You're not going to make enough. He said, you're not going to make enough money. You're going to get too frustrated. You're going to be out of the business.
Yeah.
He goes, you want to make real money? He goes, $1,500. You want to make some real big money? $2,000. It's that easy. But here's the thing, y'all. You have to have belief. Brennan can tell you this, and I told him this. The one leg up I had on all of you, the one leg up is I knew it worked. I had my dad. Amy, I couldn't look at my dad after 3 weeks in the business and go, yeah, this don't work, Pop. This doesn't work, man. Right? I know it did. But here's what y'all need to realize, though. You're on a call every single day with people that do it, right? Every day, right? And you act like you don't have enough belief. We don't want you to go broke, but here's the problem. You already are. Let's make a change, right? But here's the thing. I know y'all are thinking it, right? That's why we already lost. I hope we lose to 50 people. They don't have belief in what we do. And I'm not trying to be motivational. Their head's they're out of the game, right? You need to be excited about the investment because it means more money. It means more efficiency, right? It means growth. When you don't increase the investment, you're dying. There's no growth.
Connor, I heard Simon Sinek say this. Simon Sinek said this. He said, passion is a result. The reason you see so much passion from the coaches with this is because it's a result of what they're doing. You're not going to believe unless you're doing the process, right? We talk about this all the darn time. Is the virtual deal is a different animal. It's a completely different animal. The Matt Pertuzzi that says 7,000+ this week was a rough week. All right. The Noel Hughes, who wrote $3,000 yesterday, wrote 11 grand on the week, said it was a rough couple of days. Okay. Why are they saying that? Because they've got it figured out. They've got it figured out of what this virtual thing can do for you. And Barry said this a while back, and it never really resonated with me, but it does now. He said, I never really pushed somebody to invest in leads because I didn't know what was inside of them. He said, I never pushed somebody to invest a certain amount of money in leads because I did not know what was inside of them. So the thing with what we're talking about is if you don't have that desire, don't do it because you're just going to waste your money. But if you got a dream and you got a desire, all right, that failure that's going to happen, because it's going to happen. Make no mistake about it. You are going to have those days. That failure, you'll just keep pushing right through it, right? You'll just learn from that failure. You'll figure out how you can get better on that appointment. All right, you'll get on the coaching call and you'll hear Jamie Trent say something or Jonathan Burns say something that it resonates with you. Why? Because you did the process. So if you don't have the desire, don't invest in leads. Don't. Because here's the thing. It's set up for so many people that do have that desire, to win at a high level. And I'm telling you guys, with virtual, it's nothing magical except it's just simple math. You can just see more people. Virtual isn't easier than going face to face. It's just a more efficient way, and I can see a whole heck of a lot more people from my desk than I can going door to door.
Nick, Barry Clarkson just said it, and he said the only thing that's going to sink the ship for us is if the leads go away. And all we are, each of us, are small microcosms of an entire picture of Equus. And if our leads go away, that's going to sink our ship. And the people that don't understand that and think that, well, why aren't y'all training on how to talk to somebody in a home? If you don't have any appointments, who cares how to talk to somebody at home? You got to have some leads. And Nick Burns, you know as well as I know, leads cost. I don't care if you're paying for them out of your checking account or you're getting a 40% or 60% comp rate instead of a 80 or 100, you're paying for leads. And if you're not getting leads like that, you know what you're doing, Scott Rumble? You joining a business networking. You out there asking for referrals. You out there cold calling, picking up the telephone book. Are there even telephone books anymore? You're going, you know what I'm saying? Leads cost. But I don't understand why people want to learn how to do an e-app and they ain't got a stack of about 200 leads in front of them and have gone through them 3 or 4 times texting them. Until I guess started getting passionate about this. Equus does not have a product knowledge problem. We have an appointment knowledge problem. You gotta have appointments to go see people, to run business, to write apps. Without appointments, you're not gonna write apps. And how do you get appointments? Scott Rumbo, you gotta have some leads. And this is such a simple thing. And Brandon, praise the Lord you got it, man. You're a breath of fresh air for all of us. You're like a mini Connor Jones. You're like mini me for Connor Jones, man. Because that's what he was, just like you, man. He just jumped in and did it with his birthday money. Was yours your birthday money, by the way, Brendan?
I'd been working since I was like 14, and I'm pretty good at saving money, so I just use that.
Brendan's always invested in his business, Jamie. He power washed and went out and bought an expensive power washer and power washed the neighborhood. He understands it.
Man, you're a step ahead of everybody else fearful right now because they ain't got them. They think they don't have them. See, Barry said it's never as good as we think it is, but here's the part that I think every single person on this call just about missed. It's never as bad as we think it is.
Yep.
It is. Man, Barry Clarkson said a mouthful.
Go out there and fight for it. Listen, I know some of you right now, this is giving you so much anxiety that you're sitting there like this, like someone is standing on your chest. And I get it. I remember being there too. Thank God we're not there anymore. But I remember being there also. I remember having the vehicle that I was driving because my other 2 vehicles got stolen at night by the banks. This other vehicle I had, it paid by the week, and it had this tracking device on it. And if I didn't make my payment for the week, they would shut it down. And here's what I figured out. If I parked the car underneath my carport, the satellite couldn't hit the tracker and turn it off until I got paid my commission so I could pay the payment and keep it going. So listen, we've been there, but that's how to do. I was like, I got to stay in business. So I hid the car underneath the carport so they couldn't turn it off until I got a commission. I paid that, got more leads. I know what you're talking. I know where you're at, but you got to fight through that. Cause I'm telling you, you get to this side like Barry's talking about after fighting through it, because this business can get you out of debt, and it can get you out of debt faster than anything I've realized. I'm telling you. And so now today, being in a position after fighting after all this time, I want you to know there's opportunity out there for you. Listen, there's big equity checks can be paid out. Going from someone who was hiding their car so they wouldn't turn it off to getting a $45,000 equity check. It's there for you. I wasn't anyone special. I was hiding my car. You can do the same thing, but you just have to make a decision that, man, forget it. I'm not living this life of freaking stress anymore, this financial stress. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to invest, and I'm going to work my tail off. And I know how difficult and stressful it is going into op trying to find stuff. Let me go see if I can find some leads. That's why we all got on standing lead orders. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have that stress. I just want the leads to come in before they hit opt, because that takes a whole lot of stress off versus me trying to beat someone into opt to get something out of opt and searching all these states going, I got to find some. Oh man, those 15 that were there earlier are not there anymore. Get yourself a standing lead order. You can get a standing lead order A's. Like Nick said, I think on week 3, you need to have a standing lead order for A's. In the beginning, get you a standing lead order right now if you're brand new for B's and C's. Just so that when they come through, they go to you. You're not in there stressed out trying to find something. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.